Hi, everyone. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks, hashtag Ask SBR. This is a live show that we do every day at 10:30 Eastern Time. My name is Sheila Lojak. My partner, Mike Brenner, is about to be here. He's just in the bathroom somewhere, and this is our live show. Friday, small slate of college basketball games, big slate of NBA games. Of course, we've got the Grammys coming up. Of course, we got UFC 208 coming up. We got Anderson Silva in that one. We got a lot of stuff coming up, and yeah, I guess the most important news, though. Really, the most important news, though, is that Mike Brenner and I, over the past couple days, couple weeks, 10 days, whatever, have been quite good with our ATS results. Mike Brenner, Mike Brenner has been nailing it day in and day out, sort of a little bit quietly in both college and NBA. And
feeling in that zone, Pistol.
I'm starting to do the same thing. I've mostly I've been like positive every day in February so far, and then I tweeted out 5 winners.
You get so much taller than me in one day.
I don't know. I'll go down. But
you go down. Right, there we go. Let's even the playing field.
Here we go. All right. Let me just find. All right. So we got. I guess let's start with the small college basketball card. There's not a whole lot that I'm seeing that I'm liking. Obviously, the usual Ivy League stuff.
Last night was one thing I think made a statement was SMU. I mean, I really think this team.
Great call, Mike.
No, it's not about that. I'm trying to just look forward and who's right. Who has the edge moving forward. This team's getting real serious about tournament time. They're not afraid to go on the road. They're not afraid to be on that level. And look at that UCLA comeback in the end. All right, and it looked like Oregon. And, buddy, you had a good call on that. Oregon, I think they gave it away. And there's an Oregon fan in the room. I think Oregon gave that game away more than UCLA won it, just my opinion.
Yeah, and I didn't have the balls to actually pull the trigger.
You told me you were going to stop that shit 3-4 weeks ago, Pete. What happened there?
I didn't have the balls to pull the trigger, but
that's going to be on your headstone. I didn't have the balls.
Yeah, I didn't have the balls to pull the trigger on the 2 games, but in our video, we did mention that both SMU and Gonzaga have.
Boom! I love it, Zaga. What you think about that? You said something about the total, right?
That's right. I didn't have the balls to pull the trigger, but we did say that Gonzaga and SMU were both teams that were just cashing week in and week out and looking like they were going to be, just play-ons until further notice. So anyone who watched the show, that certainly seems to still be the case. Both those teams, were beating their spreads by significant margins.
Hey, speaking of which, Zaga on the first half was my power pick last night. That's why I didn't give it on the show. I had the full game on the show.
Very
power
nice.
Pick. Now I had one of our followers who I respect tremendously, Werner Nessler, used to play for Santa Clara. Remember the one I was telling you that played? He hit me up and he's like, Brenner, on WhatsApp. He goes, I respect all your calls. I respect your picks. He goes, but this one, he goes, last time they played, they were only up by 11 at half and they were at home. He said, I'm telling you, they got a big game coming. And Combs, I think was the guy's name, might not be playing. You know what? When you have your pick, you got to have that solid. There's no. And I said, hey, I respect your opinion as well. But you know what? I think Gonzaga knows they're in a spot. They're undefeated. They got to keep this momentum going. I said, I look for this team to bury them at halftime. My God. And again, it was luck, but they buried them at halftime. And here's Werner Nessler, who knows his basketball. And he's like, you're in that zone, bro. You're in that zone.
Yeah. Well, listen, Gonzaga has proven themselves. They're now 17-4 ATS. So pretty much like, it's just like we said in the videos, it feels like just a play on.
Feels like it.
They're covering those spreads as a huge home favorite, as a big road favorite, whatever. So we'll see. At some point, it's going to change, but let's see. All right, so in college basketball tonight, I don't know. Is there anything that you want to share right now? I was thinking first thing my vague leans, maybe Columbia getting 4. Now it's on 3.5 at Penn, and the other one is an interesting matchup with Ohio and Ball State, two top teams, in their conference. And
well, Pete, on Columbia, I think they could get the outright win. I don't think that Penn's that demanding, and they're not that commanding on their home court. And if I'm correct, Columbia's on the road, right?
Yeah.
I like that play. I'm looking into that. And tune into the college basketball show. I only have one pick, but I like what's going to be there. So
another one that's interesting is Oakland and Detroit. And Oakland, of course, pretty much clearly a much better team than Detroit. But Detroit beat Oakland on Oakland's home court earlier this year. So is this a revenge spot for Oakland? Maybe so. But on the other hand, Detroit, kind of an inconsistent team. But at times when they're good, they have great results against other quality Horizon teams. So I'm thinking maybe Detroit +7. It's just an interesting game. Do you have anything to say about that?
Well, it is. Well, both of them, when they're both clicking, in years past, they remind me a lot of each other, the way that they run the ball, the transition game. I was thinking about a total on the over with that, Pete. I got a feeling that's going to be a damn shootout. So, and the Twitter follower, one of my Twitter followers, wanted to know your best total on the small slate today. So I said he probably didn't break it down because now he's talking about breaking down the freaking Grammys.
Yeah,
or something.
definitely.
You got all kinds of stuff going on.
To look at the totals.
He's
there.
busier than a one-legged man
yeah.
in an ass-kicking contest.
And and then the other one in college basketball that I saw in the overnight that felt like maybe a trap, but then I was like, no, maybe it's not a trap. Is Akron at Eastern Michigan? Akron, of course, coming off a loss there, the class of the MAC, and Eastern Michigan just looks like the kind of team that loses at home to top teams in the MAC. So I think I did bet that one on the overnight. I got
if I'm correct, you had the Zips on the last slate, didn't you? A couple days ago, you didn't go with Akron?
No, I don't think so. But I did take them on the overnight. I took them at Pick'em, and now it's up to a -1.5. So that might be a pick that I'll give. And that's about it. And then there's some other, Manhattan Monmouth. That's always.
I got a couple questions.
Go ahead, hit us up.
Niagara +9.
Yeah.
Could that be an inflated line? Also, we got a question on Facebook here from David. Harvard versus Brown.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, the Harvard Brown one. I have.
That's at Harvard, right?
No, it's at Brown.
It's at Brown. Ooh.
I have no opinion on that one. I did look into it, but I have no opinion. Actually, I have no opinion on either of those. The only one.
Harvard was an ATS ticket cashing machine on the road a couple of years ago. Wasn't too long ago, but that team really has just changed everything. The way that I don't know. I can't figure that team out. That's a tough one. Be careful with Harvard.
Yeah, the only picks that I was leaning towards were Akron and Columbia, and then maybe thinking about
that statement. The only ones I'm leaning towards this one. And also maybe this one. It's like we were supposed to find a big balls factory in the Punta Cana. What happened to that?
Is that still -1?
He's staying off.
It's -1.5 now.
So earlier.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So those are the only things that I took. Akron on the overnight. I took Columbia on the overnight, and Detroit I didn't take, but I'm thinking about it. What? I'm sorry.
Okay. You got probably a lot of questions.
Got all kinds of stuff up there, Pistol. I can't get to them. You're gonna have to.
Yeah.
I don't have my glasses, and if I put them on, I might get laughed off the stage. So.
Okay, so that's college, and then we got a huge slate of NBA.
Speaking
games.
of NBA, we got to touch on some things. All right, Utah last night came out on fire at Dallas, covered that half, but you know what? What I really found out about them was when Rudy Gobert gets in foul trouble, it changes the dynamics of that defense, especially underneath the boards, everything. And when he got into foul trouble, boom, next thing you know, they're going into overtime. And that's a team that depends too much on one big man. They need to maybe, before trade deadline on the 23rd, I think they need to maybe get a nice backup, like a Zeller type of guy, like Cody Zeller or something like that.
All right, well, the interesting games, Golden State, obviously, they have OKC coming up next, which is a huge game. And Memphis has actually beat them twice this year. So that's an interesting handicapping situation. Right now, the line is, it opened at 7 that I'm seeing here at SBRodds.com. Now it's up to 7.5.
I have a hard time fading anything that Marc Gasol is involved in. That guy is playing the best ball. He's having one of the best years he's had, Pete. He's the reason Memphis is the backbone. It's not Zach Randolph, with all due respect. It's not Conley. All right. I'm telling you right now, that Gasol is the real deal. He's the anchor to that ship, and that's a dangerous team. That's a dangerous team.
And then we also have Miami, you covered again.
You believe it? They've won, what, 12, 13 in a row, this team. They were 14-30, Pete. Now they're on this run out of nowhere.
Well, yeah, 13 in a row.
It's incredible. And ATS-wise, though, Pete, throw them stats out there. What are they doing?
I have them at 11-0-1 ATS over their last 12.
I think Dennis would even be impressed with that. Dennis might even look and go, I got to start betting.
And then we also have the Knicks, of course, a team in a complete disarray off court. They've lost 3 in a row ATS. All 3 of those games also went over, so they're clearly shirking it on the defense.
You know what? You got to bring this up. As long as Carmelo Anthony is even involved in trade talks and there's a possibility, you got to stay off the team, because you don't know what he's going to do, if he's going to bring it to show off or if he's going to slow down, because there's a part of him that wants to stick a knife in Phil Jackson. The best way he can do that is not be moved by the trade deadline. It'll screw up their money situation as far as their cap, and he knows it. Now that he knows he's squandered a couple opportunities to get passed on to some good teams, all right, you look for him to maybe try to be a sabotage guy for that team. And I'm not kidding you guys. Ego, shit like that, you get involved with Phil Jackson, you want to get in the media with him, you better be ready to dance. And Carmelo Anthony, that's one you don't know he's going to bring it, or he might shut it down. And you know the guy can't spell defense, let alone play it. So careful in them Knicks. That's a wore-out, messed-up team. Yeah,
and Denver, of course, can be a very high-scoring offense.
But they're banged up, Denver.
So, yeah, well, so maybe Denver on the team total over. And then, of course, Milwaukee lost Jabari Parker.
They're a lost team. That team's lost 13 out of 16 straight up, Pete. That team is in disarray big time. Now with Parker gone, what do you think? Over.
No, I'm going to take a sort of wait and see approach with it, and I'm thinking maybe about the under, although the Lakers have been a big overtrender this year.
So what happens in the process of a wait and see approach, Pistol? I got to ask. I want to tap into that brilliant mind.
You see how the first game without him went, and then you take that with a grain of salt because the first game and sometimes the second game after that can be very misleading. And then you see a couple of other games after that. You look at how they adjusted, how the game plans adjusted is the key. The key is not necessarily execution, but how the team changes their strategies with the guy out, who replaces him, and
well, there's a big factor that not a lot of people know about right now, and it's going to start making some noise. Jason Kidd may be looking at the back door. They might be looking to get rid of him. Not a lot of people know that, but there's already some talks. They're already looking at a few other possible replacements. But if Jason Kidd's out of there, they don't think he's the right fit coach-wise for this Greek freak that they're bringing up. And Pete, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? You might want to be careful of that team.
On Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wait and see approach for me. I'm vaguely leaning to the under tonight, and I'm going to stay off the side, but I'm going to do maybe a little bit more research if I want to bet it. But as of right now,
that team's really missing Chris Middleton underneath.
The Greek freak didn't even know who Jason Kidd was. When he was
had no clue.
Him, he was like, "Hey, you need to do this." He was like, "Who the hell is this guy?"
Yeah, that was when they were winning though. They're losing now, so no one even cares about Jason Kidd right now. He's holding on, fighting for his job, literally. But yeah, what you're talking about was when they were on this tear. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
When they were killing it. Mm-hmm. How about the Sixers just keep wanting to cover and all that good stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yep, the Sixers, with Embiid back, are going to probably get a significant boost.
And Okafor again is big on this trading block, so he's going to be trying to shine because he wants, obviously, to shop his skills and show his, what he's doing. So are they on the slate tonight?
Who?
Philly?
Nope.
Okay.
And questions about the Spurs. You guys think that's a trap game tonight? -4.5.
Who they playing?
They're at Detroit.
I'll stay off of Spurs. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them right now.
Well, with Kawhi Leonard back, they do get a nice boost. I was thinking about the over on that one.
How healthy is he though, Pete? You got to be careful of that. They might just be putting him on the floor. Popovich look what happened last night with Cleveland changing that lineup, right? Mm-hmm. There was a line that was at 10, went to a pick 'em. Went to a frickin' pick 'em. You believe that?
11.5.
And it looked like Cleveland, they were winning at halftime, and then guess what? So who knows? That's it.
Yeah,
crazy right now, Pete.
The Spurs have been a big overtrend around the year, and Detroit's been about 50-50 at home
Detroit's starting to pick up some steam last 4 games, a little bit. So, you got to watch out for that. I'm not sold on Spurs on the road at all, even with Leonard back. I think it might take a game or two. I might have a wait and see approach on that one, Pistol.
All right. So, do we want to give any other analysis, or do we just want to get to our final best bet?
Baseball's right around the corner, baby. I can't wait.
We had some chatter about Washington -5.
Who they? Washington.
They're at home against Indiana.
Ooh.
And
hold on. Yeah. Check out the show on that one. Yeah, just check out the show because we got to go.
Yeah, Indiana, of course, playing well. They got blasted by the Cavs in their last game.
Well,
but before that, they were playing well. They made a lineup change, and they started to cover and go under. So that's certainly an interesting situation. And Washington, of course, off of multiple OT games recently. So they've been an overtrender, though.
Yeah, moving forward, when you get a team as hot as Miami, you got to ride that. Certainly, don't bet against them until they lose one. But you got to ride them. That momentum is gaining, and it's showing Eric Spoelstra really is, I think, a good coach. Pete, that Dion Waiters has really made a name for himself. And, I'll tell you who's huge down there is that Goran Dragic. He said he's in the best shape he's ever been in his basketball life, and he's proven it 34 tonight, 39. He's just killing it.
Sure.
Imagine if they would have – I was talking to a guy on the phone last night. Imagine if they would have kept D. Wade. Just imagine that. Right now, if they would have had D. Wade, that team would be freaking dangerous. So
sure. All right. So I guess we can wrap it up.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. You got a lot of studying. We got to do. We're gonna do an afternoon show, Pete, for Saturday.
Grammys and UFC today.
Well, that's Pistol Pete. When you can't stop them, you can only hope to contain them.
We have some people here saying, "Man, keep putting out those second half plays, Pistol."
That's it.
Yep. I tried to.
Pistol Pete's tweets.
The thing is, I try to, with those second half tweets, I'm just like, all right, I have to make sure that each one is, because I don't want to put out some tweet that I'm not sure about. So last night there were 6 and 5 of them cashed. So I
wish I only had 6 tweets. Again, Pete, we're heating up in basketball. Look out. But Twitter last night, buddy, 5 hours of that Twitter. It's just, we got guys in Bosnia, Russia, Australia last night. Show some love. There's a group of 16 guys that get together in Australia that watch our show. Swear to God, can't make it up. And,
okay, I want to be an Australian citizen. So if those guys are watching right now, if you have like a chick who'd be willing to just marry me for citizenship,
you might want
please
to
get in
marry
touch
for
with
more
me.
than that.
Yeah, or more than that would be just a bonus. I want to be an Australian citizen. If you could hook that up, I'll owe you my life. I'll give you lifetime.
He's living in the down under.
I'll give you
Pistol Pete, men at work.
I'll give you a lifetime supply of college basketball second half picks.
Supply.
If you can hook me up with citizenship in Australia.
You know what you just did? You just blew up my Twitter tonight. You better be backing up your Twitter tonight too, because my God. But guys, your support, all of it is amazing. I don't have the time or the words because last night there was thousands of them. It was just amazing. But what a team! Juan White's. You can go on and on and on. Bill Morgan, by the way, said we can't take the car to the bank anymore. He said, Brenner, we need a fucking bus. So we got to get a bus.
All right, we got a guy asking about Rhode Island and Dayton, and that's
I like the over in that. If I had to do anything, I would lean over.
Maybe I definitely looked at that one, and I just think that maybe someone else could make a good argument. Maybe someone else knows something, but to me, it looks they already played once. It was a relatively close game. Dayton won at home, and now I think that I don't see any edge there on the spread. Didn't look at the total at all. Haven't had a chance to look at the total, but as far as the spread, that's an interesting game. I think it probably goes down to the wire. That Dayton, Rhode Island is the type of game that is sort of ripe for a second half play. So that's the kind of game when I look at it, my first thought is I'm not going to touch the full game line, but I'm going to keep a special eye out for second half value possibly.
It just blows my mind what goes through your mind. How do you even find time to rest or anything else?
There you go.
Pete, baseball season's coming up. It's time for you to start hitting the town. We got to get a good looking girl.
This guy's saying too much bullshit. Who cares about your love lives? Well, now you're going to listen for 6 minutes about my love life.
Here we go.
All right, here you go, and you're going to listen, Jay. No, I'm kidding.
Guess what? I got to tell you this. I'm going to put it out there. Last night, all right, there was a guy on my Twitter. His name was Michael. I'm not going to put his handle out there. He jumps all over Pistol Pete because of fucking Houston Rockets in the first quarter loses. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So he starts beating up my partner on Twitter. All right, I don't take kindly to that stuff. And you know me, I'm aggressive on the Twitter. When he said what he said, and I'll show you the Twitter. We'll bring it up in the video later. I told him, look, there's no room for your negativity on this team. You know what? Not only do you have no respect and you command no respect, bottom line is, all right, you're out. You're gone. Hey, if I can put them off the team, I blocked them. Really? I can't count the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of guys that jumped on and said, you're out, buddy. You get out. Get out. You're fired. See you. Pull the trigger on him, Brenner.
I mean, he did.
Backing up my buddy.
He did have a point, though. I mean, why
he doesn't have to be nasty like that.
And
not just that. What the biggest response was, well, that's just another guy that put his savings on one game, all right? And now when it didn't cash, he's putting all the blame on Pistol Pete. The guy is a sprinter. He's not into a marathon.
I mean, you do a lot of first quarter plays, Mike Brenner. You were not on Houston first quarter yesterday, so there must have been a reason for that. Why don't you tell us why?
Well, because sometimes, Pete, you just got to feel that, that early edge or who's got it, and you had a team desperate, so early is when they're going to want to show it. So, but my first half, I don't think that first half covered anyway.
No, the first half didn't cover. No. That's what I'm saying. So why is it that you didn't give a play on the first quarter?
Because I thought the first quarter would be the momentum with Charlotte. The first half would spread out Harden, but they ended up picking it up at the end of the game.
Yeah,
so
very nice.
But Pete, I'm not kidding you. I'm getting to the point where when guys want to jump on, if you're not happy and we're not putting a gun to your head to jump on the channel and use our picks. That's another thing I told them. Hey, get out. You don't like it. Tune yourself out because we don't have any room for the negativity.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to tell you what. There's a guy who's posting saying he doesn't want to hear about my love life. We're going to have a private call, 15 minutes, and all he's going to sit there on the phone and listen to me talk about my love life for 15 minutes.
Yeah, he must have.
How do you like that?
What's going on with him?
Yeah, he must
for him to be negative like that.
How do you like that?
Yeah.
That just gave me an idea for a bit. Pete's ex-Rolodex.
Uh-oh. That's another story. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Future's so bright. He's got to wear shades. Oh wait, you do wear shades.
I mean, I'll tell you just quickly about my love life in 10 seconds at Pornhub.com, motherless.com, and that's basically
motherless.com.
That's basically it.
Oh my God, Pete.
That's my love life in 5 seconds, and now we can get back to handicapping games. And
we have to.
So all right. So we're going to be doing a big NBA show later on today, where all this information will
Yeah, we're going to add some tweets on there too. I'm going to put some of that stuff out. But guys, most important, bet responsibly. Right, beat your book and build that bank with the Odds Couple. We're coming to you, baby.
All right.